Continue till 5 this evening. Right now it's Mary and Jamie we're talking with. Jamie, I want to talk to you. We were visiting off air about wrestling.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
you had a nephew?
My nephew, he placed seventh at the Iowa State wrestling tournament. So had an opportunity to go out there. I went out for the first day for round 1 and 2 last Wednesday, and so I got to watch him compete. And then he continued all the way till Saturday. So he placed seventh. So real proud of him. 144 pounds. He's a stud. Yeah.
That is such a spectacle. I know J.D. Luters does such a great job as our varsity wrestling coach, again, back for his second time around at Clinton High School. But, he always talked about the atmosphere at Vets Auditorium, which I could imagine they called it the barn. What's it like in now the Casey Center? What's that atmosphere like?
It is incredible, Gary. I mean, there is just so much energy, and the stadium is full, and you got to get there early to get seats, and then you can just see like the nerves, but then also the kids that are going out there, they're so focused and ready to go, and so and the upperclassmen kind of helping the younger boys a little bit to fight off some of those nerves, because that is quite an arena to be in, an accomplishment to get there. So
and the state of Iowa is so good in wrestling.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's the caliber of wrestling out there that I didn't remember seeing when I was in high school. So
were you there for the championship round at all?
I did not go back out on Saturday.
Okay.
So I just went Wednesday for round 1 and 2. I drove 6 hours round trip to watch him wrestle for 51 seconds. So he pinned the kid in the first round. So yeah, but I was glad to be there. So
I always thought it was tough for parents, especially like if they had a track athlete who was a sprinter. You go all this distance and then they're done in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, but I love wrestling tournaments. My son wrestles, and I could go sit there all day, and I can get on board with another match. I might not even know those kids, but I can sure jump on board to root one of them on. So yeah, it's just a really fun atmosphere.
So what do you think about girls wrestling? Would you have been a wrestler, Jamie?
I don't think it would have suited me, but my daughter, she has had an opportunity to be like the stat girl or the manager of the Fulton wrestling team this year, and those girls are really pushing for her to maybe wrestle next year. We have one girl from the high school that it's a new program, and they have had the opportunity to send her to state, so she starts today. So that's pretty exciting for Fulton to have a freshman girl at the state tournament. So, and I think she's got a real shot at winning it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and she's probably pretty good in volleyball too.
She is.
Since her mother, Stacy,
is that's right. Yeah, Kirby. So, yeah, absolutely.
And she's the youngest of their 3 girls.
I believe so.
And they're all kind of somewhat different. But I could see Kirby being the
She's a really good wrestler. She's really fun to watch. So, yeah.
Mary, would you have liked to wrestle?
No.
No desire to wrestle for Mary Rupp.
The closest I came to is I have 5 brothers. So it was a struggle all the time to just get through the day. Yeah, that's it. No, I'm not a physical person.
Well, you do bike.
I do, but yeah. I compete against myself there.
Well, there you go. That's the way you got to do it. Set a PR again.
Yeah.
Another PR for me.
Exactly.
So you're going to get out today?
I would love to, but I think my afternoon is kind of spoken for, so it's not going to work today. And I heard the weekend's going to be horrible.
Yeah, it's going to snow.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been
That's
a roller coaster
right.
weather-wise.
That's just not right. I've gotten out once so far, but yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk a little Snell Zornig here. And Jamie, we talked a little bit about your family and yourself, but your education. How did you get into mortuary school?
Yeah, so Gary, I was going to school to be a science teacher. Thought I'd find myself in a 5th grade science class, teaching, and realized I wasn't going to like my job very much as I was getting ready to start my student teaching. So switched gears. I was at Grand Valley State University, switched gears and enrolled in mortuary school in Chicago. So I went to Worsham College. Which is the same place that my colleagues at the funeral home went. So went there and lived in a Jewish funeral home. Kind of interesting to kind of see that culture. So I lived and worked in a Jewish funeral home while I was in Chicago. And then when I was getting ready to graduate and kind of looking for an internship, there was a posting for Snell Zornig on our bulletin board. And so I sent them a resume, and they called. I came out and visited, and not very long later, I took the job and ended up here. So
I want to talk a little bit about working at the Jewish
Oh, sure.
area. What was that like for you?
You know, it was different. I mean, the funeral home I worked in one was huge. I mean, like huge chapels. I think like 4 chapels that probably could accommodate maybe 200 or so people for each funeral. So so you had like 3 or 4 of those. So funeral home was huge. Did about 1,200 calls a year. So I was a glorified answering machine while I was in school. So middle of the night, we had to pick up the phone, and so you kind of got used to talking to people on the phone and real versed. And then just the differences in funerals, obviously, between a Jewish faith and Christian faith, which is more what we do at Snell Zornig. But yeah, it was just different and interesting, and got to meet a lot of really, really cool people while I was there.
So, wait, if you could, I mean, what are some of the differences?
I would say the main difference is, that they don't do like visitation. So like there's not a lot of embalming that goes on at the Jewish funeral home. And a lot of times they will try to bury by sundown the next day. So I might take a death call overnight, and by the time I got home from school, that person was already at the cemetery. So just like things moved really, really quickly there. So yeah, and then like they did like a lot of like ritual washing of the bodies and things like that. So just different than Christian-based faith does a funeral.
So, talk me through mortuary school. How long of a process is it? Is it like a regular college education, 3, 4, 5 years, or what's?
No, so you have to have some undergrad schooling. So as far as before you go to mortuary school, there's some prerequisites that you have to take. So usually most people would go to a community college. I went to a university because I didn't know I was going to go to mortuary school. So that was a change in plans for me. But so a lot of times people need to get like 60 credit or 30 to 60 credit hours before they go to mortuary school. And then at Warsham, it's an associate's degree in 12 months. So like it's an accelerated program. So you go to school 5 days a week and through the entire year with very little breaks. And then they kind of break it down, get you ready for your national board exams. And then you take that exam once you graduate, and then you have to serve an internship. So
How tough of an exam is it?
it's a tough test. Yeah. So it's 2 sessions. You sit for about 6 hours total for that exam, and one's in the arts and one's in the sciences. And then I think like Ryan talks about, he did like the bubble exam. By the time I went to school, it was all on a computer. So like I knew instantly as soon as I hit submit that I was either passed or failed. And I'm a pretty studious person, so I was pretty prepared for it, and so did real well on it. But it's a hard test.
And how great did you feel when you found out that you had passed?
Oh man, relieved. I mean, you have like I have a job lined up. If you don't pass that exam, now what do you do? Because you're gonna have to retake it and pay to retake it, because it was the first time around. It's part of your tuition. The second time around, it's we have to foot the bill. So, but yeah, so I did real well, and then I did some catering while I was in college. So I went from that test, taking that test, and got on an airplane and went to the U.S. Open for 9 days in New York and catered for a catering company. I worked for a catering company. And then 9 days later, moved back here and drove here with a U-Haul. So, yeah, it's kind of an interesting transition of a few weeks there for me.
Were you thinking about staying with that catering company? I mean, if they're taking you to the U.S. Open and things like that?
It was a lot of work, and yeah, I was glad to start a career, but I didn't have much money after mortuary school, so I went out there and worked a bunch to save a little extra dollars for my first few months here. So
Any tips involved in catering? I mean,
not for this. I mean, this is a lot of like catering kitchen work.
Oh,
so
okay.
we made about 900 meals a day for
Okay.
CBS Sports.
Oh,
so
my.
like all like the newscasters and all of the people that were working behind the scene for CBS Sports. I didn't see one tennis ball get hit while I was at the U.S. Open.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought you were talking about golf. U.S. Open for tennis.
For tennis,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Very good. We have a check of the weather coming up here on KROS. Winkle, Parker, and Foster, their firm provides outstanding service to their clients because of their dedication to the 3 underlying principles of professionalism, responsiveness, and quality. At Winkle, Parker, and Foster of Clinton, they provide financial planning, tax services for business and individuals, accounting services, and QuickBooks services. Winkle, Parker, and Foster, certified public accountants and consultants. They are located at 1301 19th Avenue Northwest, just off the Mill Creek Parkway in Clinton.
It's time now on KROS for the Storm Track 8 weather forecast, brought to you by Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
Your Friday is going to be a day worth getting outside for. Soak up the sunshine, the really warm temperatures. There will be gusty winds and high fire danger, so no outdoor burning today. We'll see temperatures soar into the mid to upper 60s. For tonight, mostly clear. Temperatures will return to the 20s. With your Storm Track 8 weather impact forecast, I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky.
Currently, we have sunny skies and a temperature of 45, winds out of the southwest at 10 miles per hour. This weather report on KROS has been brought to you by Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
Why do customers trust Kelly? Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning goes above and beyond with a maintenance service agreement. For one low annual cost, you can save 5% on repairs, have priority scheduling, and no overtime fees. Plus, it helps avoid costly future repairs. And if you need a new Bryant whole home comfort system, Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning has many different financing options to get you up and running, whatever it takes. Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning in Clinton, your Bryant factory authorized dealer.
This half hour, it's the ladies from Snell, Zornig, Jami, and Mary. We're going to talk to Mary for a little while now. Mary, you're a Clinton girl, right?
Well, actually, I was born in Bellevue.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my
born in
goodness.
Bellevue.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and my folks moved to town when I was going into high school, and they put me into Mount St. Clair Academy.
Not OLA? You didn't go to
No,
Our
no,
Lady?
no, no, I didn't.